It's your girl, Riley Burruss, and shout out to the Progress Report.
The Progress Report.
What up, y'all? It should be your homegirl, MikFlyy. You already know I'm back outside. And today I'm with a young lady who is blooming, doing her big one, bossing up in her own lane, Miss Riley Burruss.
Hello.
How you doing today?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Well, thank you for sitting down with us.
Of course.
So I have a few questions for you. First, I'd like to start off and ask, how's your mental health?
It's been doing good. Yeah.
Yeah? You're doing good?
Yeah.
You sleeping well?
No, but
Okay.
other than that, it's been good.
Okay. What do you think is keeping you up?
I mean, working this new phase of life, it just kind of throws you in there, and I'm adjusting. I'm learning.
Yeah. It's a process. But, you keep being positive and, you keep your mind clear. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're a first generation grad.
Yeah.
You earned your bachelor's, which is awesome. Okay. So in music and business, right? Mm-hmm. So you are taking your LSATs. You're currently studying for your LSATs. Is that correct?
Well, no. Now I'm studying for the GRE. So I'm studying for business school.
Okay.
And then after that, law school.
Because you want to be an entertainment lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. So what motivated that?
Of course, growing up with my mom in the music industry and seeing her do everything in the entertainment industry has been really amazing. And I love everything about it. And I think I've seen her work on both sides of the industry. And I'm not, I don't love the singing part, but I do love the back end part of the industry. So I really want to work in that.
Yeah, and you got a leg up. You've been seeing it since you were a child, so you know on that side of it how it is to be in the industry. So you've grown up in the public eye with your family. How is it now? What motivated you to now tell your story and stand out and be your own person?
I mean, I definitely think that part of it was just the fact that I feel like there were a lot of misconceptions of me since people saw me as a little kid, and obviously you're a bit more shy, you're growing, you don't really know who you are yet as a child. So a lot of people still view me in that lens as a little girl who doesn't like to talk much. So I just really want to showcase who Riley really is.
Yeah, and we want to see. Okay, so what has this journey of self-discovery, what has it taught you?
I'm still on it, but especially over this past year, I've really been working, on the mental health part of it, on the figuring out how I want to portray myself and how I want to be as a young lady. And, I've just really been learning and, love reading the mental health books and self-help books, which I know that's a controversial thing. Everyone has their different opinions on that.
Yeah. Well, self-help is important. Some people I think they judge people because people are on a journey and want to do better. But I think sometimes you kind of overcorrect and that makes it kind of tricky. But I love that you're focused on your mental health and becoming a better person and just making sure that you are your best self. I love that because it's coming off on TV. So I love that for you. Okay. So what has helped you come out of your shell? Because I see that you have really evolved.
Yeah. I mean, I think when I'm just, hanging on to my mom's coattails, it allows me to kind of just be shy and in my own, little bubble. But when I went off on my own in a whole nother state, it really just allowed me to figure out who I am and just discover what I actually liked. And I think that was really important for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So what would you say the biggest misconception on who you are versus who people think you are?
Honestly, I am more outspoken than people think. I think a lot of people think I just don't speak, but I do. If you ask my friends, sometimes I speak a little too much. So yeah.
Okay. So people think you're really quiet, but you're not as quiet as people think.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that you're out of college, what has been your biggest challenge?
I think this is a really difficult time for a lot of people, in this weird liminal space where you just finished something, but you don't really know what's next. So that's been the most difficult thing. Yeah. Just figuring out what's next.
Yeah. It's always tricky, in that little space where, okay, I finished school and now what do I want to do? It's always kind of tricky. Okay. So let's pivot to the show a little bit. All right. So episode 1, you stepped up as the voice of reason during some of those hot moments. Would you say that those are real life moments or you think those are people who are putting on for the show?
I think those were real life moments. I mean, I think some of them definitely do put on, which I end up realizing later on. But I definitely think that some people aren't as authentic to themselves as I thought they were. But, I think it's a balance of everything.
Yeah. Okay. So people are showing who they are, but they also putting on for cameras. got you.
Or just putting on for each other. I think everyone wants to be, the top dog.
Yeah.
And I don't ever think it's that serious.
You are real chill, so I don't think that you would think it's that deep. Okay, so let's talk germ gates. Now, listen, that had me on the floor. It had me on the floor. So, okay, you didn't hold back at all when it came to how you felt about that. Like, what were you thinking in the moment when the girl said, "I'll wash my hands"? Like, what were you thinking?
I thought she was kidding. But, I mean, clearly we realized she was not, and she really, stood on her opinion, which, at least she was true to herself. But, as long as she's true to herself, I can be true to myself and we can agree to disagree. But she ends up, acknowledging the next time she saw me that she washes her hands now and, we made up.
Okay, so she washes them now after realizing it was that she should have washed.
I mean, I don't know how often, but at least before she saw me, she did.
Okay. Well, look, you're helping us all out. Helping stop the germs. So we appreciate you. Okay, so you and Ariana back together. How has it been?
It's been really nice. I think we were both nervous to see each other because, seeing each other as kids versus full-grown adults is totally different. But we really hit it off. The day we met each other, we hung out all for the rest of the day. And, we went out to eat, then hung out. I met her boyfriend, her dog. So it was really cool.
So you got your parents used to hang out. We're cool or whatever. How has it been now? I'm sure you guys connected as children versus adults. Like, how was that energy? Did you feel like, dang, this is my buddy? Or it's like, it was kind of weird a little bit?
At first it was weird, but once we started talking and got the awkward, conversation out the way, it was pretty smooth sailing.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. Okay. Episode 2. Okay. So tensions kind of shook up a little quick with Charlie.
Yeah.
So from your POV, what was it like a personality difference, or you think it was more to that?
I think there was more to that. I think sometimes when people have preconceived notions of people, they automatically go in with a negative attitude. So I think it was that, and also the personality difference. Okay. So I think they just don't get along that well. And I think that there should have been more grace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then sometimes personalities don't match. Sometimes you and whoever just don't blend like that. That's okay.
Yeah. But okay. I feel like, of course, always try to be cordial.
Yeah. You're so sweet. You try to be sweet. You try to be sweet, right? And I love that for you. All right. So you mentioned how moving to New York will be kind of challenging, trying to find real friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Has that view changed?
No.
Okay.
I still believe, my friends from growing up from, in Atlanta, I see the big difference between them and the people I've met in New York. Of course, I've met some really amazing friends in New York, but I think nothing compares to having, a real Atlanta, especially a female friendship. It's totally different.
Nothing like a Georgia girl.
Yeah, literally.
Okay. All right. So has being part of Next Gen NYC made you more selective about who you keep around you?
It's made me more aware of how people's true colors can come out randomly. So, yeah, I take a double take for sure.
Okay. Yeah. So being on the show like that, how do you balance standing up for yourself? You're in the public eye. How do you balance that just, being able to say who you are and standing firm and not being too much?
I mean, I think it's definitely hard because depending on who you're around, some people think you're too much even when you're not being too much. So I am learning now to just not care and to just be myself because, if you vibe with me, you do. And if you don't, then I just, don't mind anymore. But yeah, it's hard to balance that because of course everyone wants to be friends with everyone but it doesn't always work like that. You got to just be true to yourself.
Yeah. Okay. So in reality shows, right? I'm sure your mom is giving you some great advice. What would you say is like the most important or pivotal advice that she's given you thus far?
Just to not be fake for cameras, because I think that's really important because when you do that, then when you see it on TV, you're like, oh, I don't even think like that, and then people are going to judge you and then you can't really defend something you really don't believe in. But me, I'm just like, well, I said it and I did believe that. So it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay. So I have some questions, family questions, right? Okay. So how is it being the daughter of a legend?
I mean, nice. I think there are definitely some some great things to come of it.
Okay. And so with you, okay, tell us what's coming up for Riley. Like, what is going on next?
Well, of course, ideally, the show takes off and we get a season 2. And I want to, of course, continue my higher education, continue to work towards, working at a label and also working as an entertainment lawyer and just, seeing what's next, seeing what opportunities pop up.
Okay. So tell me, the song I'm So ATL.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be so ATL?
I'd say so loyal and just that girl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So in Atlanta, what is your go-to meal?
OLG, anything on the menu.
Period. All right, here at the Progress Report, we have the word progress.
Okay.
What does the word progress mean to you?
Progress means constantly wanting to improve and putting in the work to do that.
Okay, I love that.
One step at a time. Even if it's not 100%, as long as you are doing 10%, 2%, it's still progress.
Love that. And that's true. A little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
Well, I'm definitely going to be praying for you, and I definitely hope that, you start to sleep a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I don't sleep that well, but I had a kid, and, that's what happens when you have a kid. But, well, thank you again, for having us and allowing us to be a part of your media tour.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
For sure.
The Progress Report.